Well, when a man has a home to take care of, works one night a week, goes bowling a couple of nights, likes to take his wife to a movie now and then...
Pat, you think it over. We're all in the same boat. I'll call you in a couple of days, huh? We need people like you, Pat. I really hope you can find the time. This is Dr. Walter Bell, and I'd like to bring you another transcribed chapter in the story of Empire County. This series is presented to you by the New York State Department of Health and produced by the State Radio Bureau. Today's story, The Time Is Now. Pat Patterson lives just around the corner from us. Pat is a likable fellow. He's good-looking, quite successful at his job. I guess there's a chap like Pat in almost every neighborhood in the country when it comes to the subject of community service. For example, when I called to ask him to act as captain in the Cancer Fund drive, Pat said,
Gosh, Doc, I'd love to, but I just haven't the time. And anyhow, the Cancer Society doesn't need me.
And when he was asked to join the PTA, Pat said,
PTA? That's for parents of younger children. My boy Bob's just about finishing high school. I don't think I'd be much help there. Besides, I'm pretty pressed for time.
So I wasn't too surprised when I dropped in on Pat the other day. Hi there, Bob. Dad home?
Oh, yes, Dr. Bell. Come in.
Thanks.
Dad, Dr. Bell's calling on you. Gee, I didn't know Dad was sick.
Well, I don't think he is. This is a non-professional visit, Bob. Hey, how's the team doing this year?
Oh, not so hot. We just can't seem to get going.
Oh, hello, Doc. Sorry
Hi.
to keep you waiting. I was just starting to rebuild the room in the basement, turning it into a rumpus room for the kids, you know.
Yeah.
It's a good nail up some wall board. Nothing to it at all. Can I get you something?
Oh, no, thanks. Maybe you can do something for me, though, Pat. Maybe for yourself.
Oh, Dr. Bell.
Oh, good evening, Mrs. Patterson.
What brings you out?
Doc's going to put the bite on me for something or other, I think.
Well, I don't think you could term it a bite, Pat. Here's the story. You see, as Commissioner of Health for Empire County, I'm also Chief Medical Officer for our Civil Defense Program. Frankly, there are a couple of ways in which you could participate, Pat.
Only two?
Now, you might start by enrolling in a course for self-help and neighbor help for the injured. You know, our short course in first aid for you and your neighbors here in New York State. Later, you could serve as an instructor.
Oh, dear. You don't think another war is that close, do you, Doctor?
Of course not.
Well, we certainly hope not, Mrs. Patterson. But we must be prepared. Even if war never comes, we must be prepared.
How can there be a war? Everybody in Russia doesn't trust the guy standing right next to him. Europe is all upset with new governments being formed every day. I tell you, they can't get enough people together in any one country to make a war.
Yes, but still, if it should come, Empire City is a pretty important industrial center.
Well, then things will really boom around here.
More than you can guess, Pat. You see, it'd be a prime target for enemy planes. Don't you see, Pat, we have to be prepared.
Say, Doctor, how about us teenagers? Can't we help?
Anybody can help who wants to, oh boy. There are jobs for everybody, including teenagers.
Goes to show you how much they really believe there's a necessity for all this hooey. They need teenagers. What in the world for, Doc? Tell me. What for?
Well, Pat, we found that they're especially suited for a lot of jobs requiring the pep and ginger of youth. They're an important part of our medical program, our defense program.
Well, I think I can round up some of the gang to help out.
We'll certainly be glad to have them, Bob. There's a course in self-help and neighbor help starting next Monday evening at the YMCA. Won't take much of your time. Only 4 classes, you see. Takes 2 hours twice a week for 2 weeks.
It's all right for the kids. Keep them out of mischief.
Pat, remember this. A first-class knowledge of first aid is always helpful.
I'll take it up at the Mothers Club. Perhaps all of us can arrange to take a course right at the meeting.
Oh, that's an excellent suggestion, Mrs. Patterson. We'll make an instructor especially available for your group at whatever time you can arrange it. Now, Pat, how about you?
Well, when a man has a home to take care of, works one night a week, goes bowling a couple of nights a week, likes to take his wife to a movie once a week...
You think it over, Pat. You know, we're all in the same boat. I'll call you in a couple of days. Pat, we need people like you. I really hope you can find the time.
Okay, Doc. Say, has anyone asked Jim Beatty across the street? He's a soft touch for things like this.
Thanks, Pat. I'll pass the word along. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Pat.
Yes, dear.
Why didn't you tell the doctor you'd serve as an instructor for the course?
Now, where am I going to get the time? Here I started the rumpus room. It's going to take every minute of spare time for the next 3 months.
Won't do us much good if a bomb hits.
Now, don't you give me any of that malarkey, too. Who's going to bomb who? That's just a lot of political bugaboo.
All right, Pat, all right. Do as you see fit. But I think a knowledge of first aid is important, and I'm going to bring it up at the Mothers Club.
And I'm going to round up the gang.
And I'm going back downstairs to the rumpus room. I lost enough time already.
Well, Mrs. Patterson was as good as her word. She not only brought the matter up at the Mothers Club, but she was instrumental in getting the entire club to take the course on as a club activity.
This session, ladies, we are going to work on how to give artificial respiration. Most of you probably associate artificial respiration with the first aid for drowning. Well, this is quite true. But artificial respiration is first aid in a great many more instances. For example, how many of you would think of applying artificial respiration to persons suffering from electrical shock or from near suffocation? Now, if one of the volunteers will come forward, I'll demonstrate the correct way of applying artificial respiration.
Yes, the Mothers Club was in full swing behind our self-help and neighbor help program. The course proved so interesting that attendance at the classes was much greater than they expected. Mrs. Patterson confided in me that some members who only show up once a year were coming to meetings regularly for this instruction. Well, at the same time, young Bob Patterson had done an equally fine job in getting a teenage group started in the Y Library.
All right, now, come on, guys. Let's get down to business. We're very lucky to have with us tonight one of the top men in Empire County's Civil Defense Program, Mr. John Shelton.
Thanks, Bob. Men, I'm going to be your instructor for the self-help and neighbor help course. After you complete this course, there'll be many other opportunities for service in the defense of your homes, your neighborhood. With additional training, there'll be jobs such as helping doctors and nurses, carrying the wounded, bearing messages, and a great many others.
Well, I can tell you I was certainly surprised at the zeal and sincerity those youngsters put into their training. The Board of Supervisors of Empire County had already appropriated money for certain medical equipment and supplies, supplementing the larger stockpiling carried on by the state. The supervisors and the state were both far-sighted enough to see the need for a solid medical defense program, but other people, well, they're good, honest citizens, but they're sort of like Pat Patterson.
Hey, anybody home?
Yes, dear.
Well, things are so quiet. The dining table wasn't set. What's for dinner anyway?
Well, dear, I got home a little late this afternoon. After the Mothers Club medical defense meeting, I did some shopping, and then I had to go down and
Hi,
make another...
folks. Sorry I'm late.
Hey.
Civil Defense meeting.
Now, look-a-here. I'm going to put up a little defense for my own rights around here.
Oh, now,
Do the
Dad.
Pattersons have to supply all the manpower for Empire City's big, huge defense team?
It's only 2 afternoons a week and only 2 weeks. And besides, we're almost through with our course.
Not me. I just signed up to take a more advanced course.
General Eisenhower will be glad to hear about that.
Go up and get washed, Bob.
Okay, Sergeant.
Sergeant? Now, don't tell me.
Bob's pulling your leg. Come on, calm down. Dinner's ready.
Dinner was a very quiet one. And then, fully satisfied with Mrs. Patterson's excellent cooking, Pat tried to cheer things up again.
Well, Sergeant, I don't know how you did it in such short time, but dinner was excellent.
Thank you, Napoleon.
The way promotions are being handed out around here, it's no wonder taxes are so high.
As for you, Junior, with all that basic training you've had, I think you'd be excellent at KP.
And you, sir?
I think I'll go down and do a little work in the rumpus room. Can't tell when Junior will be needing it as a dispatch center.
Look, Pat, if you don't want to join the Civil Defense Program, you don't have to scoff at those of us who are willing to give a little time to be prepared.
Okay, I'm sorry.
How's the room coming, Dad? When's it going to be finished?
Oh, not long now. Going to use the power saw to cut some tuberfors.
I wish you'd have those wires on it fixed. You said there was a short in it.
Yeah, I will. Just as soon as I finish the rumpus room.
Pat went down to the basement, and Bob helped his mother. Things were going along nicely when all of a sudden...
What happened to the lights?
Oh,
Pop! Downstairs!
hurry.
Oh, I've got to get him off those wires.
Wait, don't touch him. Give me your belt.
Right.
I can manage. After I pull him away, try and hold him up.
Gotcha. There.
Now, let's let him down gently.
Is he all right?
I can feel his pulse. He must have gotten quite a shock. Shock, artificial respiration.
Medical defense. This area, Dr. Bell. He's in the neighborhood. Be right back, Bob.
Hurry, Bob.
Pat'll be all right in a little while. Burns on his hands will take time, but they're really minor compared to what could have happened. It was quick thinking on your part, Mrs. Patterson. Yours too, Bob.
I'll never be able to explain it. I didn't even have to think for 1 second.
Well, it just shows you what a little training can do. You worked almost automatically, instantly. You did the right things, too. Pat'll be all right. He'll come out of it in a couple of hours.
I guess I've been pretty much of an idiot, Ethel.
Don't say that. You work hard, Pat, and I don't blame you for trying to finish the room in a hurry.
Well, it's not what I'm talking about, and you know it. It's a good thing for me that you took that course.
It's a good thing for all of us.
Well, I've been putting in 1 night a week downstairs. Just as soon as my hands heal, I'm going to put those nights into the medical defense program with Dr. Bell, and I'll be glad to serve as an instructor, as he asked me to do before.
Ah, gee, Dad, what about downstairs?
Well, I'll do what I should have done in the first place. Get a man to finish it.
Well, Pat Patterson turned out to be one of the best instructors in the entire self-help program for Empire County. It's just too bad he had to be burned before he learned. Say, I hope you're not like Pat. Your local medical defense program needs you. Not your neighbor, not the person around the corner, but you. And you know, you'll benefit from the training you get in this wonderful 8-hour basic first aid course. You need it for self-help and for neighbor help. It costs you nothing, except your desire to be prepared.